So during this time when you were living in Chambers Road and there were documents related to the Penn Biden Center or the Biden or the cancer shot or your book, where did you keep papers that related to those things that you were actively working on?
This is what, 2017, 18, that area?
Yes, sir.
Remember, in this time frame, my son is either been deployed or is dying. What month did Bo die? May 30th, 2018. Was it 2015 he died? May 2015.
In the now infamous Herr report, special counsel Robert Hur alleged that Biden was a, quote, sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. But we never actually heard their interactions until now. Axios has just today, within the last hour, released an audio snippet of Her's conversation with Biden. And as you saw, Biden had trouble remembering when his son Bo passed away. Also, he struggled to remember when Donald Trump was elected for his first term. Here's more of that tape.
What was happening though, what month did Bo die? May 30th, 2018. Was it 2015 he died? May 2015. I think it's 2015.
I'm not sure the months are, but I think that was That's right, Mr. President.
And what's happened in the meantime is that Trump gets elected in November of 2017? 2016. All right. So, why do I have 2017 here?
That's when you left office, January of 2017.
Okay. But that's when Trump gets sworn in.
Right.
January.
Right. Correct. Okay.
Alex Thompson broke that tape, and he's also one of the authors of the upcoming book, Original Sin, about Biden's run for re-election. He noted that in the Herr tape, Herr is friendly to Biden, which is noteworthy because Democrats alleged that he was a bad faith actor seeking to smear Biden in the aftermath of the Herr report. Biden is often engaged in making jokes. The president was much more engaged on the second day of interviews, which was October 9th, 2023. But on the first day of interviews, October 8th, Biden was, quote, often slow and forgetful of facts. It's worth noting that Herr's conversation with Biden had already been released in transcript format, but the text conceals Biden's slow, meandering speech. For example, in the transcript, Biden says the following: okay, yeah, in 2017, Bo had passed, and this is personal. The genesis of the book and the title, Promise Me Dad, was I know you're all close with your sons and daughters, but Bo was like my right arm and Hunt was my left. Now, check out how that sounds in the audio.
In 2017, Bo had passed, and this is personal. The genesis of the book and the title, Promise Me Dad, was I know you're all close with your sons and daughters, but Bo was like my right arm, and that was my left.
So, Cenk, it's a much different reaction for me when I hear the audio versus reading that transcript. What do you think?
Yeah, but this is overwhelming. Like, this is obvious. And so what bothers me is the gaslighting. So it's like the first story we did today about James Comey seashells, right? When 86 generally means to cancel an order, etc. And everyone is pretending it only means to murder someone, right? It's gaslighting in its extreme form. But Biden, being young and dynamic behind the scenes, was gaslighting in nuclear form. And so when Robert Hur said he was like a kindly old man or whatever and had trouble with his memory, you remember it wasn't just Democratic operatives. It was cable news hosts that took his head off. And they were like, how dare you? This is outrageous, it's scandalous. Is he secretly a Republican? Is he trying to hurt Biden? Now, those same anchors are coming back and going, we were lied to. Come on, guys, we have eyes and ears, and we have tape. We have tape on you guys, including on Jake Tapper. Jake Tapper looking with great derision as Laura Trump said that Biden was in mental decline, and Jake Tapper's like, how dare you? And now he's writing a book about, oh my God, can you believe he was in decline? Yeah, Jake, a lot of us were telling you that he was in mental decline because it was super obvious, and you were the one saying that he wasn't. And looking down your nose at anyone who said otherwise. So these guys are infuriating. Of course Biden was in mental decline. You don't need tapes of, I mean, I'm glad we have this. And because it's not for us, it's not for about like 80% of Americans, including a lot of Democratic voters who understood that Joe Biden was too old to run again. This is all for like the elite crowd in Washington, so they could say, oh, breaking news. We just discovered that Biden's old. Well, congratulations. You guys seem like real news reporters.
And this is why, pertinent to our conversation about why the Democratic Party is so unpopular. This is a case in point of it, right? This is an example of something that almost all of us as Americans, independent of political affiliation, could see, that President Biden, former President Biden, did not have the energy, charisma, or vision to lead, let alone perhaps the mental faculties. We even saw that, in very early on. Trump was pointing that out in 2020, but it was something that all of us could see. But then when we keep being told that what we all see and experience is not true, and that we should just be like, we should be ashamed of ourselves for being concerned that this man would not be able to lead the US and actually enact a vision that can take us forward and not bring us back Trump, we all got shamed and gaslit. And so I think what I'm trying to do is separate two things here. One is, God bless our elderly like brothers and sisters, or elders, let's just say elders, who may be challenged with their mental faculties. And there are plenty of people who are wonderful elderly people who forget their memories on things or can't put a lot of sentences together. But that should not be the basis for us to give up our democracy and embark on this horrific path that we're all now on. So it's like they don't know the stakes. The pain and the suffering is felt by all of us because of their shenanigans and charades. And that's why so few Americans now trust the Democratic Party, the Democratic elites, and the media.
Yeah, real quick, just jump back in for a second. Look, on the Herr tapes, guys, to give you a sense of how bad it is and why that helps a little bit to hear the tape is, look, he takes a long time to say, talk about his son's death. Okay, if you didn't know already, you might think, maybe, maybe not, right? I get it, he's old, but is he in mental decline, right? He forgets when his son died. That's bad, but maybe it could happen, and again, he's old, but maybe not. But he didn't remember that when Trump won, and that he didn't, because 2017 is not an election year. No one in politics thinks 2017 is an election year. So to me, that's just definitive, right? And he's confused, wait, was the election in, oh no, he got inaugurated in 2017. Of course he got inaugurated in 2017. Joe Biden's been in politics for over 50 years. There's no way he doesn't know that. So he's clearly in mental decline there. But it wasn't just like shaming. So when I ran as a protest candidate, every place I went to banned me from speaking. Like if it was in any way associated with the Democratic Party, like and not even things associated with the Democratic Party. I don't even know how they did it. But like college universities, Arab American Museum, Democratic Party in a local area. I would get invited, and then the invite would be rescinded. Literally every time. We had a joke, at the campaign. We're like, okay, let's put an over/under on when it's going to get rescinded, right? And then you go to cable news, you go to mainstream media. A lot of podcasts covered it. Almost no one in mainstream media did, because they said it's illegitimate to say that Joe Biden is too old and that you should have another candidate. But worse than that, they smeared people. And what they said was, if you're pointing out that Joe Biden might not be the best candidate, you're helping Trump, so you must be a Trump supporter. No, in reality, the people who were propping up Joe Biden when they knew he was in mountain decline and had an excellent chance of losing to Trump, they were the ones betraying the Democratic Party, betraying democracy. So now for a lot of those folks to say, oh, I just found out that Biden was too old, I'm the hero. No, I can't stand that kind of gaslighting. Real quick, Ramesh.
I mean, they're also seen as the people who are betraying all of us, right? And because they're betraying all of us, not just by shaming, but literally silencing us, we're not even supposed to speak, we're not even supposed to think things. That's why there's so much resentment.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.